To get rid of Ethan's annoying advances, I agreed to go on a date, but was shocked to discover that my ex-boyfriend, the scumbag, has become my neighbor. Who knows how this date will end? What kind of sparks will fly between me and my ex? The searing heat churning in Ethan's chest almost seemed ready to consume me, but still, I couldn't help myself from being drawn closer to her. Maybe this was the only way I could finally break free. My obsession with her had long since sunk deep into my bones, and after last night's failed attempt at letting go, that longing had grown wild and uncontrollable. Even though she tried desperately to act as if she didn't care at all, I knew full well she wasn't entirely indifferent toward me. Being alone with her gave me the chance to show her exactly what she'd been missing. "What are you laughing at?" she asked, squinting her eyes. "I don't even have to lift a finger to get rid of you, just endure you. For a few hours, that's all." "This is a date," I said. "You call it a date?" "I call it your way of getting rid of me," she replied with a laugh. That smile was stunning yet tinged with a hint of arrogance. Her blue-gray eyes, jet-black hair, and pale skin speckled with freckles all stirred something deep within me. I wanted nothing more than to pull her into my arms, kiss her passionately, and then slowly undress her. The situation was dire. Absolutely terrible. Last night, while I'd been with that blonde woman at the bar, it had been her face that kept popping up in my mind. Things hadn't gone at all as I'd expected. I'd intended to spend some tender moments with a beautiful woman to unwind, but instead, I'd ended up feeling even more agitated and utterly unsatisfied. As soon as I closed my eyes, ready to lose myself in the moment, all I could see was Miss Brown's face. And in my imagination, scattered across the sheets, it wasn't blonde hair I pictured, but her dark locks. I hated myself for it, yet there was no denying the truth. I realized I had to put an end to this as soon as possible. A fixation on a woman who claimed to hate me, a woman I hadn't even touched yet. It made absolutely no sense. "So, when exactly am I going to be able to get rid of you?" Her words pulled me back to reality. "You're in such a hurry? Isn't it obvious that I want to get rid of you?" "Miss Brown, I have the distinct feeling that you're always saying one thing and meaning another. Go ahead and let your imagination run wild. After all, you're free and arrogant anyway. How about tomorrow night? I'll have to check my schedule." On a Saturday night, what could she possibly have more important to do, unless she's dating someone else? The thought made me feel deeply uncomfortable, even boiling with anger, just like the night I'd seen the bartender flirting with her right in front of me. And that was precisely why I'd acted like such a jerk, giving her every reason to call me a brute. Damn it! I hadn't even gotten a single kiss from her yet, so how on earth could I feel possessive toward her? "Fine. Remember to let me know," I said. But what I really wanted to ask was whether she was dating someone else. Still, there was absolutely nothing between us. No reason for me to pry, and doing so would only give her an opening to rub my insecurities in my face. "I don't have your number," she said. "I've got yours. I'll give you a call." "You've got my number?" She frowned in confusion. "You gave me your business card, didn't you?" "Forgot. I figured you'd just send me an email." I saved it for work purposes. I was still trying to convince myself, so my tone didn't sound very convincing at all. She nodded, clearly not believing a single word I'd said. "By the way, I'll get back to you as soon as I've sorted through everything." "All right, but I hope it won't involve anything work-related. I think I heard you're a workaholic, actually." She stared at her wine glass, then raised her eyes and gave me a teasing look. "Does this make you feel a little awkward? I'm not a workaholic, but I never joke around when it comes to my job. So, it's best if only the two of us know about this." Well, that sounded maybe more ambiguous than I'd intended. "Wow. You're saying, what I mean is, my younger brother has already suggested that we'll take over this case, just because you work in the lab. I don't want to give him any excuse to think that I'd be unable to handle the job because of my connection with you." "I see. I didn't know that before. But actually, I think it's for a different reason. I'd assumed you were doing this just to annoy me. I really had no idea you worked there." "Good thing you weren't stalking me then." How could she possibly think I'd be stalking her at work? Does she really think I'm that obsessed with her? Maybe I am a little bit obsessed, but not that much. Miss Brown was probably just way too self-centered. You really think you're that charming? You're awfully full of yourself, aren't you? You've got to admit, this coincidence is pretty unbelievable. Running into you really was quite a surprise, she said, nodding slightly. I'd better get back to my table. As she suddenly stood up, her cleavage caught my eye for a split second. Her white blouse was unbuttoned just enough to send my thoughts spiraling. You could at least pretend you weren't staring at my chest, she said, shaking her head, and it made me laugh. Asshole, she muttered under her breath, rolling her eyes before turning around and walking away. Once again, my gaze was drawn to those perfectly shaped hips accentuated by her pants. Miss Brown? I called out to her, and she stopped in her tracks, turning around. What's up? Dress up a bit tomorrow night, I teased. She forced a fake smile, gave me the middle finger, then returned to her table, leaving me feeling both feverishly excited and unbearably tormented. I couldn't wait any longer to pull her into my arms and let her lose herself completely in me. After finishing the wine in my glass, I made my way back to the table as well. All evening long, the way she looked at me was tinged with distance. I kept wondering, was her agreement to go out with me really just an attempt to get rid of me? No way. The tension between us, surely it would have stirred even the slightest bit of hesitation in her. Deep down, I hoped that she, like me, was just as eager for this date. Whether I closed my eyes or opened them, it was always her. The way she smiled, the look in her eyes, even that hint of stubbornness in her voice, it had already left an indelible mark on my mind. I have to have her, at least once, even if only for a single moment. I'm desperate to know whether the taste of having her is as exquisite as the countless late-night fantasies I've had. This anticipation is almost overwhelming me. I want to savor the softness of her lips, to caress her pale skin, not in a gentle way. No, I don't plan on being gentle at all. With my hands, my lips, and my breath, I'll leave an unmistakable mark of my own on her. This date is my one and only chance, and every single second feels like it's counting down. My fingertips ache with the urge to touch her skin, to feel the warmth of her body in my arms. Just picturing these scenes, and knowing that my goal is finally within reach, finally lets me drift off to sleep a little more peacefully. Ellie. On Saturday morning, the sound of a phone ringing from who knows where jolted me awake. I glanced at the alarm clock. It was only 8 o'clock. Who would call this early? Anna knows she'd never reach out before 8 o'clock on the weekend. I reached over to grab my phone from the nightstand. The screen showed an unfamiliar number, and I was about to hang up right away. Then suddenly, I remembered Mr. Morgan saying he'd give me a call. But he wouldn't be calling this early, would he? Hello? I answered, stretching lazily as I sat up. Don't tell me, I just woke you up. It was him. His voice sounded strangely hurried, almost like he was panting. What on earth was he doing? You do realize it's 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning, right? I know. I just finished a 10-kilometer run with Ben. A 10-kilometer run? What kind of person gets up early on a Saturday morning to go running? Clearly, it had to be someone from the Morgan family, and Will, too. Yeah, they're all crazy. What do you want? Do you want me to hand you an award or something? Are you serious? Well, I've got a few ideas, actually. Morgan, just come out and say what's on your mind. Otherwise, I'm hanging up and going back to sleep. Have you checked the schedule yet? I struggled to recall how on earth I'd ever agreed to his stupid proposal. I'd been planning to completely ignore his existence, yet somehow I'd ended up agreeing to go on a date with him. Oh my God. I hadn't even had a drink at the time. Are you still listening? I'm just thinking, why on earth did I agree to go out with you in the first place? I must have lost my mind. The most likely reason is that you couldn't resist me. Only secondarily did you want to get rid of me. I'd rather believe it was the former. I have to make sure if I do agree, you'll really stay away from me, right? I promise. Of course, as long as you win this bet. All right then. So, how many hours do you need? First of all, you've got to treat this like a real date, Miss Brown. This isn't the agreed-upon arrangement at all. I thought, as a scientist, you'd take this experiment seriously. I'm just testing the hypothesis behind this experiment, Mr. Morgan, and we both know exactly what the hypothesis is. You'll try to charm me, fail miserably, and then realize it's all been a complete waste of time. We could just skip straight to the conclusion. You simply forget I exist, and that way, we'll all save time. What time should I pick you up? He ignored my words, leaving me to let out an exasperated sigh. No need to bother. I can drive myself. I'm fulfilling my part of the date, so you might as well play along. Just send me your address when you're ready. You're being a bit sexist, aren't you? Not at all. By the way, let me tell you in advance. I've already picked out the place. You're kidding, right? You think I'd let you pick the spot and then end up dragging me off to a hotel room? Oh my God. Just be ready. Just tell me the time, okay? You're such a... See you tonight, Miss Brown. Dress sexy. He hung up before I could say another word. Damn him. I've already saved his contact info under the nickname Asshole Morgan. Why on earth did I even agree to this? I must really be out of my mind. I should have just canceled the date and told him to go to hell. But if I did that, he'd only think I'm scared. It can't be that hard. After all, it's just spending a few hours with him. Or am I walking straight into a trap? I can't stop thinking about what happened in that storage room. The way my sanity nearly slipped away, the way my body reacted to him against my will. This is absolutely a terrible idea. Even if he doesn't touch me, just being this close to him is dangerous enough. Damn it. What's wrong with me? When did I start doubting my own self-control? I've got to win this bet and put an end once and for all to that jerk. I'm getting up now. Just thinking about how he ran 10 kilometers early in the morning and then comparing that to how I dragged myself out of bed on Saturday night, feeling like a total slacker, makes me want to scream, even though I was already exhausted from work last week. I took a quick shower and changed into my workout clothes. I'm heading to the gym to burn off some energy. Maybe that'll help me stay calm tonight. After an hour and a half of intense training, I decided to take the stairs home. As I reached the final step and stepped into the hallway, my breath suddenly froze in my chest. My blood seemed to surge straight up into my head, only to freeze again in the next instant. The sports bag in my hand slipped from my grasp and thudded onto the floor. The person standing right in front of me felt both familiar and alien at the same time. I almost thought it was just a hallucination brought on by the intensity of the workout. Leaning against the wall, gasping for air, my gaze remained fixed on him. How could it possibly be him? Ellie? He turned around to face me, holding a bag in his hand and trying to open the door to the apartment next to mine. Todd? What are you doing here? His expression was just as confused as mine. I live here. What? You don't live here. I'm the one who lives here. You live here? Yeah, right there. I pointed to the door at the far end of the hallway, nestled against the wall. So, we're neighbors? No way. You can't be my neighbor. Tell me, what on earth are you doing? I demanded. I told you. I just moved in, he said. No. You don't live here. Absolutely not. My stuff is still on its way, but I've already rented the apartment. You're kidding, right? Nope. You've got to be joking. Really, no way, Ellie. No. This can't possibly be real. It's got to be a misunderstanding. There must be some mistake, he said, holding up the apartment key in his hand and giving it a little shake. No. 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 Todd can't be my new neighbor. I struggled to steady my breathing, barely able to catch my breath. The apartment next door had just become vacant, and now my damn ex-boyfriend has rented it? What kind of nightmare plot is this? I closed my eyes and prayed it was all just a dream. I pinched myself hard. Sharp pain shot through my arm, and when I opened one eye again, he was still there. Damn it. What are you doing? He asked, looking puzzled. Nothing. Just making sure I'm awake. Having me as your neighbor makes you feel this bad? You've got the nerve to ask? This could actually be an opportunity. Opportunity. Excuse me. I headed straight for my apartment. I didn't want to hear another word he had to say, nor did I want to see him. All I wanted was for him to disappear, just like he'd done before, never to show up again. Ellie, he reached out and grabbed my arm as I walked past him. Don't touch me, I snapped, wrenching free with clenched teeth. You still hate me, don't you? No. I don't hate you. I'm too lazy even to hate someone I've already forgotten. Never had I so desperately wished those words were true. Well, looks like at least one person managed to do that, huh? Damn him. How dare he say something like that? I wasn't going to stand here and listen to his nonsense.
Goodbye, Todd.
I turned around and kept walking until I reached the door of my apartment. We really need to talk, Elle. Don't call me that, I growled, fumbling for the keys to unlock the door, my anger boiling over. Do you have plans tonight? We could. No time. I got something already arranged. Finally turning the key, I blurted out immediately. I rushed into the house, slammed the door shut, and locked it behind me. Leaning against the door, I slid down to the floor, feeling unsafe even in my own home. Todd's appearance brought back all the bitterness of being abandoned once again. Just seeing him was enough to make my chest ache, as if a fresh wound had been ripped open in my heart. Why does it still hurt so much? The moment I laid eyes on him, every single question I'd ever had came flooding back, consuming my thoughts. Why did he leave me? Did he ever even care about me? Even just a little? Why was I such a fool, failing to see that he was nothing but a jerk? Where exactly am I lacking? Why, after everything that's happened, do I still harbor even a tiny bit of lingering attachment? I don't want him back. I hate him, but why does my stupid heart still cling to a sliver of hope?
Calm down, Ellie.
It's just the neurotransmitters playing tricks on me. Damn it. Todd Lockhart has become my new neighbor, and I've got to face reality. Pretend he doesn't exist. Ignore the fact that we share a wall. Isn't dating that idiot Morgan enough already? My luck is absolutely terrible. One disaster after another keeps piling up.
Just go with the flow, Ellie.
Stop fighting it. I take a deep breath. Everything will be okay. Tonight I'll shake off Ethan, and then figure out how to get rid of Todd. I sent Ethan a message asking him to pick me up at 8 o'clock. This whole thing is so weird, I never would have imagined myself going on a date with him. Remember why you're doing this, Ellie. Hold on, get yourself out of this mess. I really want to call Anna and tell her everything. But Ethan wants only the two of us to know about this, and it seems like that's the best choice, especially so as not to interfere with his work. On the other hand, Anna's my best friend. She'd definitely keep it a secret. I stared at her name on my phone screen, but in the end, I still dialed her number. Hey. No way. You'll just get the furniture all dirty, she shouted into the phone. Can you believe Will wants to change the wall color? He says we need warmer tones. I think the heat between the two of you could set the whole apartment on fire, she laughed.
How are you?
Are you okay? Want to come over for lunch? I took a deep breath. There's something going on. I'm not okay at all. I've got something to tell you, but you've got to promise not to tell anyone, not even Will. Sure thing. Keeping a secret from my best friend probably doesn't count as a breach of our marriage agreement, right? Are you sitting down comfortably? I heard her shift in her seat. I'm good now. I'm going on a date with Morgan tonight, and I just found out Todd's moved into the apartment next door to mine. That's right. My jerk ex-boyfriend is now my new neighbor. Tell me, how am I supposed to stay calm?
What?
Why'd he have to move right next door to you? Apparently, he didn't know I was living here in the first place. This is insane. Do you really think he's not stalking you? When he saw me, his expression was just as surprised as mine. Unbelievable. You got to figure out a way to get rid of him. Having him around you is way too dangerous. Are you saying we might rekindle our old romance? Absolutely not. Ellie, I'm your best friend. I know you still have feelings for him deep down. That doesn't mean I'd ever let him get close again. That kind of thing will never happen again. I hope so. By the way, I thought I heard you say you're going on a date with Ethan. Must have been my ears playing tricks on me. I wish you'd misheard. Oh my gosh. You're really going out with him? What's going on? Why didn't you tell me sooner? Well, last night I got carried away and agreed to that stupid bet he made, just to keep him away from me. That makes absolutely no sense. How could going on a date with him possibly help you get rid of him? He said if we go out together and nothing happens in the end, he'll leave me alone once and for all. You're not actually buying that, are you? Thanks so much, my dear best friend. You're such a great support. If you really think he's doing this without any ulterior motives, then you're being way too naive. I've got my own plan. I'm going to turn him down. Of course. That'll be easy for you, won't it? After all, the guy isn't the 6'6" tall, muscular hunk with a model's face whose mere presence drives you crazy. You're not helping me at all, Anna. I called you because I wanted my best friend to tell me everything's going to be okay. If by okay you mean an unforgettable date, then let me tell you, it absolutely will be. I'm hanging up now. Be honest with me. Did you say yes just to get rid of him, or do you actually harbor a tiny bit of hope deep down inside? You're kidding, right? I'm just trying to get you to be honest with yourself. I'm hanging up because you're totally making things worse. Stop fooling yourself, Ellie. Just enjoy the date already. Yeah, as soon as I'm free of him, I'll finally get to enjoy some peace and quiet. Have you ever thought about just letting loose for once, and then dumping him afterward? You've obviously been spending too much time with Zoe. She's rubbed off on you. She burst into laughter. All right. What else do you need from me? You've helped enough already. So your plan is to go out with that hot guy, and then nothing's supposed to happen? That's right. Good luck with that. Do you think dressing a little less attractive might make him give up? I doubt even wearing a burqa would work. Put on your sexiest skirt and lingerie. Let him see something he'll never get. It'll also make you feel more confident. Have you really taken a good look at him? Trust me, you're going to need that confidence. Don't you think this will just piss him off even more? He's already planning to piss you off anyway. You're right. Thanks. At least try to stay cheerful, okay? Of course. I'd be grateful just to manage not to kill him. Bye, Elle. Have a great date. Real funny. I hung up the phone. Calling her was such a bad idea. If she really thinks I agreed to go on a date because I'm interested in him and not just to get rid of him, that's when she's the one who's crazy. I stood in front of my closet for 2 whole hours, agonizing over what to wear. In the end, I took Anna's advice. She was right. I needed an outfit that would give me some confidence. I dug out the lingerie Zoe had given me and put it on. Wearing it made me feel confident even under my clothes. Maybe I'd go for a black dress after all. After all, I didn't know where he was taking me, and a black dress is always a safe bet. I found the lingerie in my drawer, and then picked up the black dress from the hanger, a mid-thigh length piece with long sleeves and a square neckline. It was slim-fitting yet still exuded elegance. I glanced at the black coat too and grabbed it as well. Mr. Morgan didn't need to see how I was dressed. As long as I felt sexy and captivating myself, that'd be enough to sweep him off his feet. I gave myself a self-deprecating smile. At exactly 8 o'clock, he sent a message saying he was already waiting downstairs at my apartment building. Mr. Morgan really was punctual. As I headed down the stairs, I felt strangely nervous, though I couldn't even explain why. After all, it was just Morgan. I'd dealt with him plenty of times before. You can do this, Ellie. Just get through this date safely and break free from him. Simple as that. As I stepped out of the apartment building, I took a deep breath. And there he was, leaning against his car, hands in his pockets, casually watching the pedestrians on the street. He was wearing black jeans and a black turtleneck sweater that perfectly highlighted his tall, muscular frame. A gentle evening breeze tousled the ends of his hair, and light and shadow danced across his sharply defined features. Damn it! He looked absolutely stunning, so irresistibly sexy that I couldn't take my eyes off him. Without thinking, I took half a step backward, almost instinctively wanting to turn around and sprint back into the apartment, locking the door behind me. Saying yes to this date had been the biggest mistake ever. And what's more, I couldn't even begin to imagine what kind of whirlpool this break-free date would drag me into, especially now that Todd had become my neighbor.